It's a rainy day, so I'm going to be working inside today. And in this video, I'm going to be hunting down an exhaust leak in my 2005 Honda Pilot because it sounds like a dirt bike on startup. To do this, I got my shop vac, I got some duct tape, and I got a Windex bottle filled with soap and water, and that's just some dish soap. I have the shop vac set on the blow side, so I'm going to fill the exhaust with slightly pressurized air and then find out where the soap bubbles are coming out. So because this is a dual tipped exhaust, I'm going to put the shop vac in one of the exhaust ports and the other one will be completely duct taped off to prevent air from just going straight back out to the open exhaust. I find the benefit of doing it this way as opposed to having the car running is that the exhaust stays nice and cool so you can touch it and not burn yourself. And the other benefit is I also find, and in this particular case, after the car runs for a minute or two, the noise stops. So it doesn't sound like a dirt bike anymore. And I'm assuming that's because there's some thermal expansion occurring, which sort of seals the exhaust leak. My speculation is that the exhaust is leaking up front, likely in the forward catalytic converter area. So I do take quite a bit of effort to tape off the second exhaust tip. Now I'll turn on the shop vac and fill the exhaust with air, and I'll give you a little demonstration here. You can see air leaking out from the duct tape, which is fine. It doesn't need to make a perfect seal, but you get the idea of how this makes bubbles and helps you identify the leak. Now I'm going to start at the front of the car, basically as far away from the tailpipe as I can get, because I believe the exhaust leak is coming from up front based on where the noise is coming from. So I'll use the light and try and get in here low, and right away you can see bubbles coming out from where the catalytic converter connects with the cylinder head. That's hard to say if it's coming from the gasket or if it's coming from around the bolts, even watching the video, but either way it definitely has a significant leak. So working down the vehicle, I'll now spray the bottom end of the catalytic converter and see if there's any leaks. And sure enough, there's also some leaks at the bottom of it as well. Not as significant. Now this could be from a number of things. My muffling system is quite corroded at this point in time at over 200,000 miles. So it's a little difficult to tell where the leak is coming from because this thing's got a sort of a steel mesh wrapped around it. But you can definitely see that it is leaking straight through that. Now I do spray down all of the joints coming back through the rest of the vehicle. And I do not find any other leaks other than on the front catalytic converter and from around the steel mesh that I pointed out. So now to tighten up the catalytic converter, all the bolts are 12 millimeter. So I have two different sockets and a wrench. I'm going to tighten that down. And it does turn out that those were pretty loose. And once I'm done with that, I'm going to spark it back up and test it again. Now after I tightened up all the bolts, it is better. It's not perfect. It's still leaking a little bit of exhaust, but it is an old vehicle, so it could be time for a few new gaskets and perhaps even some exhaust components. Hopefully this gives you an idea of how you can find exhaust leaks in your vehicle yourself and perhaps enable you to fix it yourself as well. Thanks for checking out my video, and don't forget to like and subscribe.